No, it's 4:00.
It's 4 o'clock. We're going ahead and get started. Call to order the finance meeting for New Bern Housing Authority, Ms. Well.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. We're gonna start with the consolidated income statement for February. Okay, for Trent Court, the total operating revenue was $210,437.58. For New Bern Towers, $164,253.21. Down to total operating expenses for Trent Court was $157,567.57. For CHI business activity, $5,086.17. For the Ross program, $12,224.88. And for New Bern Towers, $90,474.95. We have one grant posted in Trent Court, which was $600,511. That makes the total net income for Trent Court $653,308.01. For CHI business activity, minus $5,086.17. For the Ross grant, minus $12,224.88. And for New Bern Towers, $73,778.26.
And that deposit for the 600 over, it was for capital funds. But what I did was I moved it over to operating subsidy, so we can use it for operations as far as like and the FEMA consultant and any other surveys and stuff that we don't have to use it for capital improvements, such as like roofs and refrigerators and things like that, because you know we already did that. So this money is gonna go towards the FEMA grant and things that we need for that.
What, could you give me a breakdown of what you're doing with Ross right now? Like, what opportunities are for residents, the community college or whatever?
So Ms. Hudgens, she'll do that in her report, but the Ross grant is for our Trent Court residents. And when I got here, and the reason why I applied for that grant is because we're gonna have to go through this FEMA application and do relocations and things like that. So I wanted her to come on board as soon as possible so that she could establish a relationship with them and be able to provide them with services like education and things like that.
Well, the money you get there, I mean, like, actually, Ross there are some senior citizen opportunities also, are there not?
This grant is only for the residents. What she does with the seniors at Trent Court is only through the needs assessment that she does with them. And if they want to go to school, then by all means, she refers them to those agencies. So the money is really just for her grant, her salary, and then for like events that we have, like when she has roundtables or community outreach events, and that's when she brings in all of our community partners, and we set up at Trent Court, and then the residents can come out and talk to them about different things that they need. Because sometimes she'll have the community college there, childcare providers there, and then just NC Works for jobs and things like that. So the Ross grant is actually, we don't really give the residents money, but we can pay like for swim lessons or college fees and things like that.
I just was wondering with the workforce development being 7+5, there was some opportunity for some grants through Ross for the seniors at Towers because it's so close to the workforce development.
We can't use the towers, it's only for Trent Court only.
Yes,
Now they do have Ross
questions. I don't understand.
Section 8 multifamily, but they hadn't had any grant opportunities for me to be able to apply for that. But I would love to have a coordinator like that at the towers. But we just have to wait until they have that grant open so I can apply for it.
Some clarification, I had asked at the meeting about having a month to date financial versus a year to date, because I'm trying to figure out where the monthly expenses are, and I have a hard time backing into them. Maybe I can meet with you and you can explain it to me. But like, what I did is I like I would have think, well, the dwelling rental, I assume, is the monies that should match up with your report from the housing.
Mhm.
And I couldn't back into the numbers, so I need some clarification on that. I won't
Okay.
take up your time here, but I'd like that. Then the telephone expense that you have here, in January, for New Bern Towers, it was $190, and then in February, it's $4,300.
That's because the bill for the cable hadn't come in yet in January.
Okay, so it's cable and telephone that's combined in that, so you pay for the cable for the
They
for the
get paid for
towers?
cable.
They
For the
get
residents,
for the
for the
residents?
whole entire building.
Okay, but that's not the case. Is that the case for Trent Court as well?
No,
Just for that, okay, because I,
The telephone expense for Trent Court is our phones here, cell phones,
okay, so it's not blocked out then under administrative cost. It goes to Trent Court, because that was my question. Why is there $1,240 for Trent Court?
it gets broken up between Trent Court, the COCC, New Bern Towers and Ross.
Okay, that was a little confusing to me. So
Mhm.
then the rent expense, shouldn't that be a monthly expense? Same every month?
Yes, that was something that me and Amelia caught today. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
you
that.
didn't add on the other one, so that the other numbers, so it showed the same amount as last month. Okay,
Yes.
so then these other numbers are gonna be off.
And
then,
if you
correct?
look at this
Well, I
income
didn't
statement, it does
see that.
give you year to date and the
Right.
previous month, like
Right.
you asked for.
Just, it's just helpful on the, we don't all see this. But it's just helpful to me. And then what I can see the variance, because I could tell what your budgeted amount is too, trying to understand what the expenses of housing authority are. Let's see. Same thing with the security system. Isn't that a monthly fee, the $120?
We haven't gotten, except we've only gotten one bill for that this year so far.
Okay, because you had 120 on the January statement, and you had 120 on the February, so I didn't know if that was the same thing like the rent.
Well, that's consolidated. So this is year to date for February. This
Understood.
isn't just January.
I understand, but I went back to January and it was 120, so it should have been 240 if it was
Not if we hadn't
consolidated.
got another bill yet.
Okay, all right, that's why this is really confusing. Okay, I see what you're saying. How often do you pay? I assume this WC insurance expense is workman's comp?
It's paid at the beginning of the year and then a journal entry is done every month to
Okay, should it
adjust
be?
it as needed.
Okay. Cause I know I pay mine. Why is the eviction expense a negative number?
Because we already charged one of the residents who was supposed to go to court. So it's been paid,
Okay,
but
so
we
you have to
haven't
pay
had
them
to
back.
pay it yet.
Okay, and then uniforms too, is it just you didn't have any uniforms, so you had the same, it's the same amount for last month as it is this month?
UniFirst gets paid at the end of every month, so whatever was on January, like. Hold on, which one are you looking at?
So uniform expense on the bottom of the
Yeah,
page.
so we just haven't gotten another bill from them since that one was paid. Cause they send invoices every week and they get paid once a month.
I guess that's truly confusing and trying to figure out what the monthly expenses are when you see a financial like this. It makes it really difficult to decipher that and figure that. So that's what I'm just trying to back into the numbers. The consulting expense that you have up here, is this for Mr. Barner?
Mhm. I would assume.
yeah,
Or
and
the
he's not the
female.
only consultant that we have. We have other ones as well.
Well, that's why I was just wondering, because I'm again looking at some of the other expenses. I had this from January. I was trying to look in there and I couldn't back into those numbers either. So I'd like to see some detail on that to try to understand. what
Just
we're
keep in
spending.
mind, I'm still new to this. If
No, I
there's
understand.
anything
That's
that y'all
fine.
want changed, I'm open to changing it. Right now, I'm just following.
That's why I'm
the
asking,
blueprint.
yeah, I'm just
I was
asking the
given.
questions to help me to understand it better, but I like to be able to back into the numbers. And understand that. Also too, how many credit cards do we have? We just have the one Visa card?
I have a card, D Meadows has a card, and we have an office card, so we have.
It's all one account. though,
Yeah, it's all
isn't it?
one
Yeah,
account.
that's what I'm saying. We just have,
It's just-
that's what I'm saying. We just have one credit
One
card
account,
account, not the number.
No,
Accounts.
just one.
Because I saw in there, can I see detail on that?
on the,
You want the bills?
Mhm.
You can have bills.
Okay, I'd like to review that maybe for the past year and just look at that so I can back into some of the numbers. Okay, thank you for 22.
You got it.
mhm.
And then if Julianne, if you could just help me, because what I tried to do here is like, see here's Trent Court, so it would show that for February is 29,528. So I tried to go into Trent Court here and figure out. So that's what was charged. So obviously that's not the right number. This is what's received, 27,700, but you had 29,528 for this month. So where did the extra money come from?
All I do is run the general ledger.
Okay.
And the income statement.
Okay, so
Any
that's what-
changes from this to that, I don't know.
Okay, that's what I was just trying to back into. Yeah, I'm just trying to back into the numbers to figure out if it's correct.
We print those reports at different dates, like she may do hers at the end of the month. The property managers may do theirs mid-month, so it could be additional charges that come in within that time from when we print. So like everybody's not printing everything the same. If you add money to it or take money away from it, then it's not gonna be the same depending on when they printed it. When they pull it, because the property managers usually pull theirs early and she do hers a little bit later. So they're just.
They have
at
to close
different-
everything out.
Yeah,
before I
it's
can
just
do
done
my
at,
stuff.
it's done at different dates and times.
No, you, no, you, here, I'll move down. Move down, you know, okay. Just trying to go to my name tag so I can get yelled at. Okay, I just like to be consistent, you know, and understanding the numbers and trying to figure out, so if everybody closed, you know, if the month ends on the 30th or 31st, then everybody closes within the first couple of days, and then you can get the reports and then close by the 10th or the 15th, so that by the third week, we get the numbers.
But if
for the-
stuff,
Yeah,
like if
it's
there's
gonna
rent
be
charges,
Impossible to close everything is at the same time, like just, I mean, it's just impossible for her to close hers and then for them to close theirs. Like we print everything at different dates and times, because we don't always have the same schedule. Something could happen, the property managers have to be out on the property, it could be anything, so we just can't do everything at the exact same time.
and then there's like these court costs, any of that can be accrued after I run my reports, so.
One thing I'd like for future, if you could, I don't hear a lot of things about fund balance, and I would really like to know a little bit more about fund balance. And I don't know, I would assume there's no enterprise funds or not, so it's kind of a general fund thing.
Mhm.
So, you wouldn't have to know the general
Back and
idea of what
numbers.
fund balance is, would you?
What do we miss?
So we have, I guess you're talking about what we have in our accounts and grants and things like that. It's at the end of the finance package. It should be.
It's the very last page.
What the balances are.
And just one other, run just cursory on that 600,511 other revenue, just give me a cursory on that.
So we have a capital fund grant from the HUD office, and they give us, they approve us for the amount, and you'll be able to see that at the end of this slide. And then we can move those funds to different things like dwelling expenses, operating subsidy, administrative fees, and there's certain items that we can use that money for. And so you can, pick how much you want for each category.
Well, I heard you
So
say
that's-
capital, and that doesn't normally sound like a revenue or an expense, that sounds
It's a
like.
capital fund grant is what it's called. I can give
So-
you the documentation of how it works, but they give us a capital fund grant and we can obligate funds to different categories for different things. Like consulting fees, surveys,
Is that 100% what you're doing is,
for that 600, yeah, I moved it also operations so that we can use it for the things that we need to get the FEMA grant, like the FEMA consultant. We'll use it to pay her.
the term capital is just a little confusing. to me.
Capital funds grant, I mean, HUD names it whatever they want to name it, so, I mean, I think it's a capital fund grant since I've been working in housing for over 20 years. But you can obligate those funds to different things, that's just the name of it and what they call it.
And is that a reoccurring fund?
It is, they give us a capital fund grant each year.
Is it about 600,000 every year?
Or five, it's for what I'm looking at the last 3 years, it's around 500, 600, somewhere in there.
Thank you.
On the FEMA consultant, I know we're paying her now, but that's all reimbursable back to us,
It
correct?
is,
Okay.
it is. And even the time that we spend working on that, like my hours.
Right,
I
that's all
keep track
reimbursed.
of all of that, everything that we
Right.
do there. We keep track of it.
Yes, very experienced with that, aren't we, Mayor?
We gotta pay it up front. I mean, we
Yes.
gotta pay them down until we get the money.
That's why fund balance is so important to organizations. The city of New Bern, we talk about that, 35% in fund balance, but that storm, we had to pay millions and millions of dollars to pay out. Then we got reimbursed. You have to have the money in the account to pay them. Thank you.
Any more questions? No. So the next several pages, you'll see the individual income statements and balance sheets for each print court, admin, CHI, Ross, and New Bern Towers. And I'll get you a copy of those if you're reading fast, but if you want a copy of those, I'll get you.
I think you had asked for some and I sent you today what you had asked for. So this is like the next one.
And if you want to, Julianne, before the next meeting, if you just want to email them to me, save you some paper, that's fine. It's just, I can read them prior to the meeting.
Colleen, so could you just real quickly, what's happening with Carolina Avenue as far as our partnership of sorts,
Right now, we're just getting fees from that. That's right. We're not getting anything. I think our last, we get that 84, I think that 84,000
Like late
development
November,
fees in
early.
late November. So that's all we're doing now is
do we have any expenses off of that, or mainly it's just income?
it's just
revenues,
income
not
for right now.
Any fixed variable expenses, nothing?
On the towers, the note receivable TVC 93,000. Is that what's owed to the towers from TVC? Is that the amount left over?
Mhm.
So, is it sitting in their bank account that it can be pulled over? They have to decide to pull it over?
Stephanie has the bank accounts for that.
So that, I mean, is there any reason not to pull it back in ours, or it has to, because I don't even know if that group even meets anymore.
The group is actually meeting on Thursday this week.
Okay,
Yes.
I have a board meeting on Thursday, and one of the items to discuss is turning everything back over to the housing authority now that
that's done.
that's done.
Okay, so 93,000, and that would
So
go back
these are
into
the
that.
capital fund grants.
Yeah,
We have to
thank you.
put the 2022 on there, but we still have, we have some in like, that's the total amount that we got, but we've drawn down some on it, but these just show the total amount that, is coming out for that year, and we gotta add, 2022 to that, because we just got that, approved, but, and then again, like the Ross grant, that's the Ross grant, it covers three years, and so it's just, the whole total amount that we got. It doesn't show any expenses coming out of it yet.
So, Tiffany, have you drawn down on 2019? Have you spent all that money?
No, not all of it. Some of it we have.
Okay, would it be reflective in one of these reports, how much we've drawn down on it? Does it show?
I don't think it actually shows
Okay.
for that, but I mean, we draw down some of it, but not all of it.
Well, it should be good to know what you have to use or what we
Yeah.
can
Once
work
it-
with.
Yeah, once it close out, then we'll take it off on there, because we have to send in close out documentations to HUD and everything, we're gonna close it out.
I'll add up there what's left in each one.
Yeah, that would be helpful to see that. Thank you.
I mean, what's the sunset on using those funds?
We have a date that we have to have it obligated and
I mean,
spent.
I would think you'd have to use stuff like that, like in a year's time, but evidently it
No.
doesn't sound like that.
No, we don't. Mm-mm.
The last page is our current cash flow. Capital fund modernization is $714,518.63. Trent Court General Fund, $2,143,054.49. New Bern Towers General Fund, $1,295,928.88. CD proceeds, $382.40.50. CHI Generals, $369,403.25. Better Vision Housing Corp., $317,310.04. for a total of $5,222,251.79.
So is the capital fund modernization, is that just like a reserve fund? For future capital improvements or
Yes.
replacements?
Mhm.
Is that what, that's what it
Yes,
is?
sir.
And just to share, I know you had all had asked about investments. HUD doesn't allow housing authorities to make risky investments, so pretty much all we can do is CDs.
So right now, if there's some CDs paying, believe it or not, 4.5% with the.
And when the ones that we have were purchased, those interest rate were so low, right now, unless we go out and purchase some with the board approval, then, we only have the CDs that we have.
Right. So what's the difference between the Community Housing Initiative and the Better Vision Housing? So what Community Housing Initiative is for?
It's our different entities that we have. One of them is the one where we do our deposits from the development, and the other is what we use to, if we're gonna do another deal or something like that.
The Better Vision Housing? I thought that was the Carolina Avenue. That's not Carolina. Better Vision is not Carolina Avenue.
It is.
Okay, but what's Community Housing Initiative?
That's the nonprofit that we have to do like our investment deals and things
So
with.
that's TBC? Is that?
No,
Mm-mm.
I thought that was the nonprofit to do the, so
that
that
was
was,
to do Craven Terrace.
okay, so this is the nonprofit that was set up to do Carolina Avenue?
Better Vision.
Better
Okay,
Vision.
right, but what about Community Housing Initiative General Fund?
We haven't done anything with that.
What is it set up for? That's what I want to understand. What is it?
We can do either or. I mean,
I
at
see.
that point, we can choose which one is the best option for us. So we have those two. Which was done.
The only accounts that
Reese, yeah. the
Yeah.
community- Now, numbers are not my thing. So, but the Community Housing Initiative was an account, a column on our,
Balance sheet, mhm.
balance sheet. And we had things back and forth there with Craven Terrace developers fees coming in prior to TBC getting involved. Like it was money that was paid, the rent that's paid to the housing authority on that 99-year lease.
Mhm.
It was various things, but it was separate, and it's not a standalone entity, but it is an account.
A column.
Column, yes,
I get
but
you.
it's not a different, it's not like Better Vision, which is a standalone affiliate of the housing authority.
Okay, but I was kind of confused when I saw that. So that's where you see the CHI business activity. That's the
Yes,
column
yes.
there, but I don't see any funds going into it.
If we don't.
So if we're getting
No,
lease but if we're getting lease payments,
We haven't, because they said they don't have the.
No, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, not now, we're not getting
That was at
anything.
the Closing.
They're saying they're not making a profit.
okay, so they can't pay the land.
Yeah, all those repairs, they may not be making a profit. That's what they tell
But there was
us.
some money at the very beginning of Craven Terrace, that went in there.
So why would we have a consulting expense for CHI then? If it's,
because it's split between all of the entities.
Yeah, but if they're
CHI
not-
pays 10%.
Is that the allocation?
Yes, sir.
Mhm, and that was the allocation that we're set up to follow back. It's approved.
Trent Court is 58%, New Bern Towers is 32, and CHI is 10.
even though it's not active anymore, you still have to pay into it, huh? Pay an expense from it? That's what I don't understand.
That's all I have.
Any more questions? I think you, been very helpful,
Yes.
but you heard their desires and things that you can meet with them and, give them, because transparency, so get some understanding and great hearing explanations, some questions that will provoke us to just look at some things and, and you handle well.
Thank you.
You handle well. Thank you, and you too, I'm just asking you, but we all good?
Yes, sir.
I'm good. Thank you.
Our next meeting adjourned, we be started back up in 5 minutes for the regular board meeting.
And then,
Yeah, there's that time, isn't it?